dungeon exotic. It's called the Flower Game Stamp, and you can actually inspect it just by going in game. Obviously, you're probably getting some error codes right now if you're watching this, but if you go in game, you can look under exotic weapon ornaments and you can check it out here. Now, why is it significant that it's called Flower Game Stamp? Because this has some deep lore indications. According to Destinypedia, we're going to break it down here a little bit for you. The flower game is a metaphor used to describe the simulated realities the light and darkness created together in the primordial garden that preceded the universe. All right, so what this is talking about is some of that, the gardener and the winnower lore. We'll talk a little bit about this. We've got a quote here from the Ishtar Collective here. So once upon a time, a gardener and a winnower lived. This is talking about the traveler is the gardener, and we don't know a whole lot about the winnower, so we might actually be exploring that lore within the game, learning a little bit more about who the winnower is, things of that nature. So then it goes on to say this: it was once before a time, because time had yet begun. We did not live, we existed as principles of ontological dynamics that emerged from mathematical structures, as bodiless and inevitable as the primes. It was the field of possibility that prefigured existence. They existed because they had to exist. They had no antecedent and no constituents, and there is no instrument of causality by which they could be positioned into components and assigned to some schematic of their origin. If you followed the umbilical of history in search of some ultimate atavistic embryo that became them, you would end your journey marooned here in this garden. In the morning, the gardener pushed seeds down into the wet loam of the garden to see what they would become. In the evening, the winnower reaped the day's crop and separated what would flourish from what had failed. The day was longer than all of time, and the night was swifter than a glint of light on a falling sugar crystal. Insects buzzed between the flowers, and worms slithered between the roots, feeding on what was and what might be, the first gradient in existence, the first dynamo of life. Rain fell from no sky, voices spoke without mouth or meaning. A tree of silver wings bloomed, yielded fruit, shed feathers, bloomed again. In the day between the morning and the evening, the gardener and the winnower played a game of possibilities. So there you go. That's the lore entry talking about this. So some big lore implications from the exotic being called the Flower Game Stamp. And we're going to be able to check it out, obviously, once we're able to get into the dungeon, which is in a few days from now. And of course, we'll be live streaming it. And if you watch the stream or gift a sub during that time, you get some exclusive emblems. So make sure you're following me on twitch.tv/lucky10p. Get everything linked up. That's a wrap on this one, though. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, keep you up to date on all things Destiny 2. See you in the next one. Later.